Sadgurunath Maharaj Ki Jai, and welcome to Jagadambe Reads the Holy Books of India, ShrimadBhagavatam223. As you may remember, Kanva was regretting that he hadn't taught more to his daughter. A pativrata has no place except by the side of her husband. Pativrata means a woman who has no religion except her husband. For a pativrata, the heavens always keep their gates open. The gods are pleased with her. This is the reward she gets for her devotion to her husband. You have a great future ahead of you, and also your son's future is at stake. For his future happiness, if not for yours, you should go to Dushanta. Kanva then stroked his grandson's head with his old and gnarled hands and said, "Child, you are my grandson, and you are also the grandson of Ilila, the king of the lunar race. You must do your duty so that your mother does not fail in hers. She loves her husband. No woman can forget a man once she has loved him. But she does not want to go to him. You are Paurava, and you are the future king of the world. Now be a man and take your mother to your father. If you do not like it there, then come back to me. You are always welcome." Neither of them spoke a word. Kanva summoned his disciples and said, "Take Shakuntala and leave her with her husband. I am sending her, not because I want to, but because a woman's place is by the side of her husband, and to stay with her father for a long time is not good for her. People will not think highly of her." Sarvadamana, with the hope of coming back to the ashram, did not object so much to the journey now. He said, "Mother, do not delay. Let us go to the king's presence." He then fell at the feet of his grandfather and received his blessings. Shakuntala went round her father and then prostrated before him. Her eyes were raining tears while she stood with folded palms and said, "During all these years when you brought me up, I have often, out of ignorance or out of carelessness, spoken harshly to you, perhaps been disrespectful or at times even indifferent. I must have done so many wrong things, but you must be tolerant and forgive me for all these happenings." Kanva's tears were falling fast now. He could not speak, and his heart was heavy with grief, the grief of parting from his beloved daughter. He composed himself, and addressing his disciples who were to accompany her, he said, "This child of mine has been brought up with tender care by me, as you all know. She was born in the forest, and she has all her life lived only in the forest, and she knows nothing of the world. Take great care of this Shakuntala, who is already very unhappy. Give her to the king and come back." He then said, "This is my message to the king. This woman, Shakuntala, whom you married years ago when you came to my ashram, has become the mother of your son. They are sent to you with my blessings. Take them and be happy." Shakuntala and her son finally took leave of Kanva and walked slowly and unwillingly towards the road which was to take them to a new life. Shakuntala's mind was full of sadness at the thought of leaving all that had meant so much to her for so many years. Her father's tears were still wet on her head when she finally took leave of him. 140, Mother and Son. After traveling by stages, they finally arrived at the gates of the city Pratishtana. This was the city where Pururavas lived with Urvashi in the days of old. Pururavas, the ancestor of Dushanta. When they reached the gates of the city, they found out that the palace of the king was in the center of the city, and that it was like a mansion of Indra himself. In the palace, they were told, was the courtyard, where the king granted audience to anyone who wished to see him. Near the gates of the city, people began to stare curiously at the new arrivals. They were particularly interested in the companions of Shakuntala. Their ascetic garbs and their matted hair drew attention of everyone, and some people commented on it. Sadhguru Nath Maharaj Ki Jai. Thank you for coming. I hope you come again.